Sailors, speech-language pathologist, and owner of Expressive Solutions. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to post to Twitter. I'm going to begin by showing you the finished project, and then I'm going to show you how to write the code. So here, looking at the iOS simulator, I have an image of myself as well as a button for Twitter and then a label that says tap to post to Twitter. So when I tap on this Twitter button, then I see a view controller with the message I'm posting to Twitter. There's the image of myself that will be included with my tweet, and then there's also an embedded URL that goes along with my tweet. So let's tap on post, and then I can go over to Twitter and let's see if that tweet just showed up. So sure enough, there it is right there. With the message, the URL for Twitter, and then also the picture, and I can view the photo there. Alright, so now let's actually write the code to create that project. In Xcode, I'm going to use the shortcut command, which is Command-Shift-N, and this will allow me to create a new project. This will be a single view application. I'll click Next, and I'm going to call this Post to Twitter. Then I'm going to click Create there, and I will begin with the storyboard file. I would like to first have a button. Drag that over to my interface here for the view controller. Then I would like a label. Not going to worry about positioning these just yet. I also want an image view. Alright, now I want to bring some images into my project here for the interface. So I have a couple of PNG files that I'm going to drag into my Xcode project and make sure that this checkbox is selected for the destination. Then I'll click Finish. And now that I have those images in my project, I'm going to select the image view, and I'll go down to the drop-down menu for image, and I would like the eric.png. It looks a little bit stretched out, so I'll go over to the size inspector and I'm going to change the width and the height. I happen to know that this is 133 by 119, and now that looks pretty good, so we'll just put it right there. Alright, then for the button, I'm going to clear out that text and go over to the attributes inspector. Then for the image, I would like the twitter.png. And then finally for the label, I'm going to have the text. Tap here to post to Twitter. Alright, so let's center these here with our alignment guides, like so. And now I'm going to connect some of these controls up to our code. Let's go to the assistant editor, and I will select the image view and then Control Drag Release just below the interface keyword. I'll call this My Image and connect it up. And then I'm going to Control Drag Release the button just below the implementation keyword. I'll call this Twitter button and connect that up. But I'm not going to worry about this label here because I don't need to get access to it at all in my code. Alright, let's go to the standard editor and over to viewcontroller.m. And I need to import the social framework. I'll use the latest syntax for iOS 7 in Xcode 5, so that's at import social. Now I can utilize that framework in my code. So I'll go down to the Twitter button method, and I can begin with writing my code. I need to start off by creating a view controller object. So I'm going to go to the class SL compose view controller, and I'll create a view controller object named VC, and we're going to type SL compose view controller, and this is going to be compose view controller for service type, and then our service type is Twitter. I think we might have one too many brackets there. All right, so now let's go and we're going to call some methods on our view controller. So let's begin with setting the initial text, and I'm just going to write I'm posting to Twitter. Then I want to add an image. So we'll get access to our image view by typing self.myimage.image. And then I'm going to add a URL. And we're going to go to init URL with string. And I should have a URL here for Twitter. So I had just copied this Twitter URL previously, and now I'm pasting it in here. And then the last thing is just to present the view controller. So I'll go to self, present view controller, which is VC. This will be animated, and then for completion, we'll just type nil. All right, so there's just a little bit more that I have to do here. I need to worry about error handling in the case of Twitter not being enabled on my device. So let's actually write some conditional code, and we'll say if, and this will be SL compose view controller is available for service type, and remember this is SL service type Twitter. And then we need to say if this is equal to no. This would be the case if our Twitter is not enabled. So then we need to write some statements here. I'm just going to display an alert if Twitter is not enabled. So this will be a UI alert view called alert, and then let's do UI alert view init. This is actually alloc, then init with title, and the title is going to be Twitter. Then the message will be Twitter is not enabled. For delegate, we're just going to type nil. Same thing for the cancel button, and then other buttons, we'll just have one for OK. And then we need to finish off. Let's see. All right, now that we have our brackets all set, let's just go to alert, and we're going to show that, and then finish this off with return. Okay, so I think we're all set to go ahead and run this app. Alright, so here we go again, and I'll just tap on the button there, and we can see that we have the view controller displaying. How about I type a little bit of extra text in here, just so we know that this is the newest tweet that we're posting. So now I think we're all ready to go. I'll just tap post, and let's go over to the web to see if this worked. So I'm just going to refresh my Twitter page, and there we go. We see our Twitter message. And again, we have the text, we have the URL, and then also the photo. And then just one more note while I'm thinking about it. If I go back to the simulator, and I'm going to exit out of the application and go back to the settings, I just want to show you how here under Twitter, I do have my Twitter account enabled. If I was not signed in here, then that alert message would show up telling me that Twitter is not enabled. Okay, well that concludes this video. This is Eric Saylors, speech-language pathologist and owner of Expressive Solutions. Thank you for watching.